It's Teemu from GuitarsNextDoor.com here, and in this video you are not only going to find out if this Gibson over here, cheap Gibson, is a good guitar, you will also find out what is this weird little thing that looks like the table that Michael Scott built. These have probably the same builder. And the first thing that I'm going to do is to throw this Gibson onto the table, and let's do some measurements for it. Let's measure the sustain, check all the neck thickness, neck shape, stuff like that. So that will be fun, and after all that measurement stuff that all guitar nerds love, then I will show some sound samples and demos with Boss Katana 50MK2 and also a new tube amp that I just bought. It's really cool, my favorite tube amp for apartment use in my opinion. And also I will probably hit couple parts with the Positive Grid Spark 42. And lastly, I will reveal you my honest thoughts about this cheap Gibson. And right now we have tons of different weapons over here that we can use for torturing this Gibson. Let's take neck shape. We have ninja stars that we can throw. It's always important with guitar tests. We will measure the resistance of the pickups and that kind of stuff. So let's get started with this, and at least you have some data points after watching this that you can base your buying decisions on. So let's go. First, let's use these ninja stars over here and check what is the radius of this thing, the fretboard, and if it matches the specs that Gibson has provided us with. And the way the things work around here is that basically I'm going to give this guitar you suck points if the specs don't match, or if we find something else that is basically a flaw. So let's go. Let's check the fretboard radius, and let's take this from the 7th fret over here, and let's try 12-inch radius at first, if it matches this. No. And basically how I know it don't match, if the radius is not correct in this one, this will shake a little bit. It's not even with the fretboard, and this does shake a little bit. So I will try the 10 next. And yeah, it's a 10. This is really firm on the fretboard. So 10-inch fretboard radius. Not super flat, but not a Fender Strat either, but almost. And then let's take the neck width with this thing. I will take it from near the nut, so it's basically nut width, and then from the 12th fret. Let's check this out. Fret, here we go. And now it's even 52.72 millimeters, and it's 2.076 inches near the nut over here. Yeah, you can see it right here. And this is first 42.77 millimeters and 1.684 inches. Then let's check the thickness of the neck from the 1st fret and from the 12th fret. So here we go. And I used tape so that I won't scratch anything right here. And so the thickness is 21.23 millimeters, and it makes 0.836 inches. And then from the 12th fret, and that makes 23.17 millimeters and 0.912 inches. And then let's turn this thing around and look how the neck shape looks. And I will take it from the 12th fret and from the 1st fret. This is oddly satisfying. So here's the neck shape from the first fret. And then, my friend, it's time to check the out-of-the-box action of this thing. I have not done any setup for this, nor I will be, because I am going to return this because this has finish flaws, as some of you might already know. How is the out-of-the-box action? I will check that from 12th fret and from the 1st fret. So let's check that out. Here you can see the action from 12th fret from the low E. Let's flip this guitar around and take the action from the high E. Here's the action for the high E. Let's now wrap up some pickup resistance numbers. And resistance of the pickups, it doesn't tell you the output of the pickup, but it gives you some indication about the output of the pickup. Higher the resistance is, it means that there are more copper wire around the pickup poles, and that increases the resistance and the output of the pickups. But this gives you quite a nice idea of how hot your pickups are, and especially when you have several different models to compare, and on our website you can do that. Let's check this out. This is from the neck pickup. Wait a minute. Now it works. And you can see it over there. 7.69. Then let's move to the middle positions. Both pickups on 4.947. And then the bridge, and this should be the hottest and have most resistance. Yeah, 13.85. Yeah. And now it's time for a really cool part. And now you will also learn what is this. And yes, this is from a children's pinball game. So I basically stole a pinball game from Kid and destroyed it. Yeah, no, I really bought this. Couple of these actually. And then I built this kind of a prototype of the string picking robot. And this should, when applied correctly to the string, always block the string with really similar force. And the way I'm going to do this, I'm going to record through amp, and the mic will always be 10 centimeters from the middle of the amp, and then I pick each strings from the middle when measured from the bridge to the end of the neck. And here are some marks that I made. Of course, this is interesting when we do this first time, but when we have over 10 guitars or over 5 guitars that we can compare to each other, of course I will always do this with same amp settings, with same recording gear settings. So when we have different models to compare to each other, this gives you some indications and maybe can help some of you guys choose the right guitar for yourself. And of course, this is not completely scientifically valid because there are so many variables, but effect of the many variables to this process have been decreased a lot. For example, I'm not picking this myself because that would always be totally different power applied to the strings, and also always the same amp settings, mic settings. Mic is from the same distance from the amp, and always guitar will be on the same table, for example, and stuff like that. And the picking is done from the middle when measured from the bridge to the neck. The goal of all this is not to be a scientist, but to give people different ways to compare cool things about guitars. That's the goal. Now we will start, and I will use Audacity for recording and pluck or strum each string, and let's see how long it rings and how long Audacity will pick up the sound with these current settings that I have. Then let's check out what this thing has eaten and open up the back plates and check some stuff. Help me out. Oh. Let's check these out a little closer. Here you can see tone and volume pots. And to me everything looks really nice. Everything is on place. Here all seems good in my opinion. Nothing seems loose or anything like that. So I don't see high chance for these wires getting off of these pots. This looks really nice and I don't have anything to complain about these solderings or wirings. Here is the switch. And to me here also everything looks really nice. Yeah, nothing to complain about. Everything looks as it should. Let's now measure the pots, and all of these are at 10 right now. So let's check out how these measure. And now let's check if this guitar makes any unwanted noise. And I have my recording running from the amp over there, and let's see how this goes. Right now, I think that you can hear some noise with the neck pickup. Can you hear? When I touch this, there's some grounding issues somewhere. Of course, I have to check if it's the amp, but it should not be, because I have just played it with another guitar. And does the switch make noise? I make through the amp. Not really. You can hear some noise over there. Yeah, so basically there is some noise. And right now, with all the same settings and stuff, and I plugged in my ESP, there's no noise right now. So that Gibson thingy, it has some grounding issues too. Let's check the overall string spacing of this cool guitar from the bridge first. Wait, I will just put this to 0. Now it should work perfectly. 9.3. Let's take the out of the box height of the pickups. It's 4.5 millimeters. The neck pickup 4.76 millimeters. Let's take the tuning ratio. So how many turns of this knob it takes to reach this same spot with the cut string end here. Let's get started. 1, 2, 14 ratio. I completely messed up the explanation for this part and originally filming. So what we are going to do next is this. First, I will put the Gibson in tune, and then bend it like crazy, and then test if it's in tune after the crazy bending. And after that, I will put it back in tune, and then just let it sit for 24 hours, and then test if it's out of tune or in tune. So that's what we are going to do next. Yeah, quite nicely out of tune. The E string, A, not too bad. D, in tune. G, in tune. B, slightly out of tune. And E, slightly out of tune. So basically, not that good for a guitar that costs 1500 bucks. I will put this now in tune and then let it sit for 24 hours and test again. So let's first tackle the finish quality of this Gibson over here. And it has those, I think that 4 different finish issues that are clearly flaws in build and finish and quality control. So that sucks for this price. And also these pickup, tapes covering the pickups from sides, they are the same basically on every model. I think that this had them a little bit worse than the model in the pictures in the Sweetwater, for example. But still, these don't look that good over there and here. And also, this had those grounding issues. Pickups make noise, unwanted noise, and also the sides of the fretboard and fret edges are not the most comfortable. I think that they should be more comfortable. Just a little bit rough. So basically, when I inspect the build and finish of this guitar, I think that this is a lemon. Hopefully this is a lemon, like 1 copy slipping through the quality check. But yeah, I would rate the build and finish quality of this thing 2 out of 5. And then the hardware. And overall the hardware, it doesn't have any flaws. Maybe if you count the a little bit rough fret edges to hardware, but I didn't. I think that those are in the quality and finish category. But overall the hardware, I think it's really good and good for the price too, even though this is a little bit pricier guitar. But still, the hardware, it's really good. Grab tech, not. Yeah, it could be bone, it would be even better in my opinion. But don't know if it matters that much, probably not. But it's still great. And then the Grover tuners, they hold the tune pretty well. They are not as awesome that I thought originally, because when I unboxed this thing and played it for probably a couple hours, they held the tune really well. But after I played with the guitar more, tuning stability is only, I would say, okay for the price. Yeah, but still solid tuners. And the bridge, all that stuff, and knobs, solderings, pickups are solid in my opinion. And overall, the hardware is good in my opinion. But still, the tuning stability, yeah, I would wish a little bit better tuning stability for this price, to be honest. And as a verdict for hardware, I would rate it 4 out of 5. And of course, the one thing that would make this really awesome would be locking tuners. And then the playability. I mean that this is really fun to play and even easy to play. I think that it's not hard to play either. But the comfortability, it's not spot on. Mainly because of the little bit rough fretboard edges and fret edges. Yeah, but overall the 12-inch radius, it feels really good, and the string bending is extremely comfortable and easy in my opinion with this shorter 24.75 scale length. And the nut width, it's not bad. This doesn't have super wide neck in my opinion. It's a little bit wider than with Strats and Teles usually, or even with modern Strats, but still the neck, it doesn't feel too bulky. And the neck shape, slim taper, I showed you some photos of that neck shape. It's in my opinion, it's comfortable even for my really tiny woman's hands. Yeah. So the playability, comfortability is not exactly there, and it should be for this price, but still it's fun to play and even easy to play in my opinion. But this is an expensive guitar and comfortability should be there, so I would rate the playability for this thing 3.5 out of 5. Then the sound, and this is basically, in my opinion, the most important thing about guitar. The playability is another thing, because you can swap the pickups. It's easier than swapping the neck. Yeah, so maybe playability can be even bigger factor for some. But still, guitar should always sound good. And this does. In terms of sound, I have no real complaints. This might not be the most versatile guitar still for this price range. I think that from some Ibanez guitars, for example, Ibanez RG550 costs under $1,000, and it's more versatile than this, in my opinion, for sure. But still, this is versatile. It suits really well with metal too. Rock, grunge, blues, and clean tones are also really round, smooth, buttery smooth, I would even say. And basically about the sound, I don't have any complaints. I think that even for this price, this guitar sounds really good in my opinion, and Gibson has done a good job with that. Yeah. It's not the most versatile, yeah, so I would rate the sound 4.5 out of 5. And one thing that would make the sound score higher would be the coil split. Yeah. You could split the coil from the bridge, for example, and unlock some single coil like tones and sounds. That would make this guitar a lot more versatile. And then the value for money. For this mic copy, the value for the money is 2 out of 5. Because it has tons of issues. Grounding issues, unwanted noise, build and finish issues. It's not that comfortable to play. But on the other hand, it's still easy and fun to play and sounds good. But the thing is, you can get a lot cheaper guitars that are also fun to play, easy to play and sound good. Basically, you can take $1,000 out of this price, and for $499 you can get a guitar that is easy and fun to play and sounds good. Maybe it doesn't sound as good as this, but still, yeah, you get what I mean. And then the electronics overall. Otherwise, everything works really well and is great in quality, but there is I think that those are grounding issues, unwanted noise, basically all the time when I plugged this into my Boss, and I tested it with my ESP over there. That doesn't make any unwanted noise. So this guitar is to blame. So for this price, I think that you, and with humbuckers, you should not get hum. Yeah, these should be noise free if you use them correctly. Yeah, and this isn't. So for the electronics and the quality of those and overall the work around electronics, I would rate this 2 out of 5 because that buzzing and humming, hissing should not be there. And the overall verdict and the scoring for this thing, well, the score and star rating is, and that's really bad in my opinion for guitar priced like this. At least for me, this Gibson made Gibson overall and their guitars look a little bit worse for me. But yeah, I still love Gibson guitars and have played many that are really excellent, but I think that this just isn't one of them. Yeah. Overall, as a verdict, I would say that if you want a fun and easy to play guitar that sounds really good and are ready to take a little risk with the overall quality of the guitar, then this is an okay choice for you. And you might receive a guitar that doesn't have any build and finish issues and electronic issues. Yeah, this could be just this mic copy, though I have heard that some other people have had similar experiences as I. And I would strongly recommend that you only order this from a place that you can return it if it's faulty. But still, I had fun playing this and inspecting it, and I learned new stuff. So yeah, but I'm going to return this. And probably when this video releases, this guitar is not with me anymore. But after this video, I will release a video where I compare the tones and sound of this with three cheaper Epiphone guitars. I strongly recommend that you check that out and stay tuned for that. And tons of different guitar videos coming with Epiphones, PRS, and Fender, and then some amp reviews also. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I will see you again soon.